Hey guys, this is God of Politics, and welcome back to a brand new video. But before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But in today's video, I do want to talk about a couple of different topics because this has been a very jam-packed last couple of days. We had the Georgia runoffs in which Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock won. Then we were supposed to have the pretty smooth, probably a long time, but a pretty smooth process of certifying the electors, and then we ended up having these big riots. They went back and certified the electors. Now there's talk of another Trump impeachment. So I'm going to go through a couple of those events which are related to each other and just talk about, the magnitude of these events and how it's just historic they are, really, because, first of all, there's the U.S. Capitol, which was, broken into by a lot of these right-wing pro-Trump rioters. It says 4 have been killed after. 1 was shot. I believe 3 died from another medical emergency. Obviously, that is a very, very sad and tragic thing to happen. Even if they were doing something illegal, storming the Capitol, it is still very sad that those people did die. But, this was a very crazy event to see. The Capitol building, the U.S. Capitol building, was being stormed by these protesters, these rioters, it's just absolutely insane to see. And I'm sure most of you were watching this because, I uploaded my video talking about the Georgia runoffs right before this happened, and most people were focused on that. So it was very, very crazy to see. It says shortly after 1 p.m. Eastern Time Wednesday, hundreds of pro-Trump protesters pushed through barriers set along the perimeter of the Capitol, where they tussled with officers in full riot gear, some calling the officers, quote, traitors for doing their jobs. About 90 minutes later, police said demonstrators got into the building and the doors to the House and Senate were being locked. Now, this was very crazy to see because, the House and Senate were doing the constitutional duty of certifying the electors, and then you did have the rioters that did come into the building, and they ended up getting into the House and Senate chambers. They were vandalizing offices. They were in Nancy Pelosi's office. They were in the parliamentarian's office. They were in the Senate and House floors themselves, and it was just completely insane to see. And it did say an armed standoff took place at the House front door at about 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and police officers had their guns drawn at someone who was trying to breach it. A Trump supporter was also pictured standing at the Senate dais earlier in the afternoon. A woman who's yet to be identified died after being shot in the chest on the Capitol grounds. D.C. police confirmed to CNN. So unfortunately, we did have someone that did die. That is a very tragic loss. And I did just want to talk about that. Obviously, nobody should condone rioting. I do not condone rioting. I completely condemn it. But, that did happen, and it is terrible. And it says at least 52 people have been arrested as of 9:30 p.m. So we've definitely had more people arrested by now. The FBI is looking for people as well. And, this is just insane to see. We look at the comparison, the juxtaposition between, these two images. Just it's really crazy to see. And so after all of this stuff went on, eventually the Capitol building was eventually secured. We had the lawmakers that returned to the Capitols. Trump told his supporters to go home eventually through a tweet that was eventually taken down. And he has been blocked from Twitter since. That's another big news event that happened. But it says here in this New York Times article, after a day of chaos, Congress eventually certified Joe Biden as the election victor. And, I was watching this late into the night. It did end very, very late because it was delayed, but there was no more certifications of states like Nevada, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin. There was a certification of a objection to Pennsylvania. There was an objection to the state of Pennsylvania. They did have the debate on that, but eventually they got through all the states, and Biden was certified as the victor. And we did have them come out, and it says Mr. Trump's comments came after Mr. Biden's victory was certified shortly before 4 a.m. by a joint session of Congress presided over by Vice President Mike Pence. In all intents and purposes, Trump did concede. It's not a full concession, but he did admit that, he's lost the election. It's over. He's going to lose, which we have known for, 2 months now. The race was called 2 months ago to this day. So, that's basically what happened. But we did have the election finally certified for Joe Biden. All of these people on Twitter, all of these people on YouTube, all of these people that support Trump saying that, the election's not over. Trump can still win. Well, do they even have an argument anymore? They never really had an argument, but now they don't even have anything else to say. Even Mitch McConnell was not on the side of Trump in terms of overturning the election results, and obviously he was not on the side of the insurrection, the storming into the Capitol building, and that was, just very sad, to be honest. And it's terrible, looking at it from political optics, it's terrible in terms of optics for the Republican Party having the supporters of the president storm the Capitol building. The area that they lost most of this election was suburban voters. How are you going to get suburban voters back by storming the Capitol building? This is something that's going to hang over their heads for a while, especially people like Trump and senators like Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz, who objected to these electors and were kind of inciting this. Whether you want to say it's direct inciting or not, they were the reason that a lot of these things happened, because they were the ones objecting to these electoral votes. And now we've got calls growing in Congress for Trump to be removed by impeachment or the 25th Amendment. Now, people may say, oh, well, does it really matter? There's no point in impeaching him. We only have about 14 days left. But impeachment could actually do something very, very crucial, because it is widely recognized, not totally recognized, but it's recognized that if you get a majority of people to vote for the impeachment, you can actually ban someone from running for office again if you get more than 50 votes. And that is something that they can actually do to Trump to try and stop him running in 2024. And to be honest, I don't know why Democrats would want to do that, because if Trump ran again in 2024 at this point, I don't think he would have much chance of victory. But it says, a lot of calls have come for Democrats. We've had Chuck Schumer, who came out again in favor of it. We've had about 100 Democrats at this point that have also come out in favor of impeaching the president or removing him with the 25th Amendment, which would require Pence and half the cabinet to be in support of it. That's probably a more unlikely scenario. I'm not saying either of these scenarios are that likely, but it is certainly a possibility. We're also going to have a press conference by Nancy Pelosi at 1:30 p.m., which is going to take place after I'm making this video, but by the time you see this video, that press conference will have happened. We're also having a press conference by Lindsey Graham. It'll be interesting to see what they say, but that will be very important too. But it also does say how there have been calls, mostly from Democrats, but at least one congressional Republican has joined in. A GOP representative, Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, a frequent critic of the president, has called for the 25th Amendment to be revoked, saying in a video message on Thursday, quote, "The president must now relinquish control of the executive branch voluntarily or involuntarily." It says the top Democrat in the Senate has also embraced the 25th Amendment push. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer put out a statement Thursday denouncing the, quote, insurrection at the Capitol incited by the president, quote, and saying, quote, "The president should not hold office one day longer." We have a lot of Democrats supporting this impeachment push, 25th Amendment, 25th Amendment. There's different pathways for it. And I think, it's very unlikely that Trump would be removed from office through impeachment, but there is certainly backlash on the president, not just from Democrats, but even from Republicans at this point. A lot of people are breaking with the president, especially since where after the election, Trump has lost a lot of his standing with independents and moderate voters. He really just has his strong base. The ones that were protesting out there are his strong base, and he sure does have supporters across the nation still, but it is still, very, very bad for him in terms of optics and in terms of just people dying. It is not anything that anybody should want to happen. But we do have Joe Biden that will be inaugurated on January 20th. That was going to be the way it is for months now, but it is, I guess you could say, official for the third time, basically. I mean, it feels like we've done these recounts and certifications of Biden's victory so many times, but finally, we now have certification that Biden is going to be inaugurated on January 20th, and will have a new president in President Joe Biden. So, thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, follow me on Twitter. I have been more active on Twitter, so you should follow me there. And join the Discord. I have also been active there as well, so you should join those, linked both down in the description. But again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.